United States military began Operation Epic Fury.
The new outbreak of Ebola disease in the countries.
I think AI will probably, most likely, sort of lead to the end of the world.
We live in a very scary world right now, where it seems like every day the next apocalyptic event that threatens to humanity happens, and there's nothing that we can do about it. I myself on this channel try to focus more on the positive of things that happen. I'm very much guilty of failing to ignore all of the shit that happens in the world, because it almost feels irresponsible to do so. And sometimes I feel like we need a bit of something to motivate us, a bit of a spark that inspires us to keep going. Whether you're someone who's trying to change the world, but you're feeling helpless and hopeless at the prospects of that, or if you're a young soul who just feels so lost at what seems like a very uncertain future. I personally feel like beautiful art and moving stories can go a long way in inspiring us to keep fighting when things get tough. For me, myself personally, especially since embarking on this journey of trying to become a creative, I don't have to answer to a boss or any KPIs. So sometimes it feels especially difficult to motivate myself to keep going and to keep doing when the results aren't necessarily coming in yet. So today I hope to share with you two shows. A Japanese anime called Orb on the Movements of the Earth, and a Taiwanese film called A Foggy Tale. Now, I personally don't understand the language that is being spoken in these shows either. But as the famous director of Parasite Bong Joon-ho once said, once you overcome the 1-inch tall barrier of subtitles, you'll be introduced to so many more amazing films. So I hope that these two shows will move you just as much as they did to me. Orb on the Movements of the Earth follows the story of multiple people in fictional 15th century Poland. Back then, the narrative and academia was entirely dominated by the influence of the Catholic Church, who put forward the theory that the Earth was at the center of the universe. Because God created humans and God created the Earth, naturally we were divine and better than everything else. So we had to be at the center of everything. Yet obviously, the science doesn't quite add up. So our cast of protagonists are people who would do whatever it takes to pursue the truth, as they try to prove the theory of heliocentrism. Now this show does many things very, very well. Firstly, in terms of the storytelling and the narrative. It really doesn't waste a single moment. The pacing is brilliant. While it might not seem entirely obvious at first, there are story motifs and threads that permeate through the entire show and build up to a satisfying and sensible conclusion. In terms of character building, the show is blessed with a wide range and dynamic cast of characters, so you don't get a lot of time to spend with each and every single one of them. That being said, they all get their own moment where the holistic character shines through, and it really shows you who these people are and what they're all about. The villain of the show is also brilliant. It seems to be following this trend in creative works where the villain is one of the most engaging and fascinating characters, such as the ones that we've previously talked about on this channel, like Homelander or Hans Lander from Inglourious Basterds. Every time the villain is on the screen, the tension is brilliant, and you're also invested in his story. The story is historical fiction, so you haven't heard of any of these characters before. But that's also kind of the point. The show does very well in playing on this idea, because what these characters have done and what they've dedicated their entire lives to, even if they were real, you would not have heard of them, because it will be forgotten and wiped away in history, because what they did was deemed as heresy or wrong at the time. But it doesn't mean that their life's work, and the cause that they fought for was wrong or meaningless, because it inspires and moves the future, and it has built to the facts and reality that we know today. Now, the show has also many beautiful quotes, but this is one of my favorite ones, which is a conversation between two characters discussing the importance of reading and writing and ideas, and how this motivates and inspires other people, which is something that almost seems forgotten in this day and age.
文字になった思考はこの世に残って、ずっと未来の誰かを動かすことだってある。そんなのまるで奇跡じゃないですか。
依家冇後名。
我最大夢。
A Foggy Tale follows the story of a 15-year-old girl whose older brother was executed for participation in the student democracy movement during the martial law period of Taiwan. The girl is trying to retrieve her brother's body in order to give him a proper burial, but because her brother is deemed a highly dangerous political criminal, she encounters many setbacks and challenges along the way. The story is centered around beautiful moments of humanity that shine through, despite all of the adversity that the girl and the people in her surroundings encounter. Now, the crux of this movie is best summarized by a story that the brother tells the sister. Humans are just like water droplets. Not every water droplet gets to live out their glorious purpose of nurturing the land or being free in the great oceans. Some water droplets get stuck as a fog, hovering in mid-air, and just fades away.
是变做雾，白茫茫的一片茫雾。时间到啊，雾就散去啊。
But there is nothing wrong with that. Hence the name of this movie, A Foggy Tale. While as the water droplet, we might feel insignificant, and we might question what have our lives been for. There's nothing wrong with becoming part of a beautiful scenery, a setting that leads up to something bigger and better. Here, I would also like to give an honorable mention to Ted Lasso. It's also a show that motivates me a lot because I think it does great at examining different cultures and building brilliant character stories.
Welcome back, Coach.
Thank you, sir.
Too bad you're coaching a bunch of girls, you old wanker.
Season 4 is coming out later this summer on August the 5th. I am slightly skeptical on the decision to bring Ted back in a different setting instead of working with the existing cast of characters that we've already grown to love. But we'll wait and see, and I'll be making videos covering that at that time. That being said, I'm not going into it here because the message of the story is quite different. As you can probably tell by now, there is a common, very motivating message that I think exists in both Orb and A Foggy Tale, and which is why I really wanted to share both of these with you. The message is that we never know what our lives will lead up to and what the cosmic meaning of it all is. But the fickleness of human life is part of what makes it so beautiful. Our time is now, and we don't have a choice. All that matters is what we choose to do with that time. Human life is fragile and small, and we are but specks of dust in the long bending arc of history that washes away our stories like footprints in the sand, destined to be forgotten. But there is something beautiful in that. It's beautiful that despite all that, we still live and fight every single day. It's beautiful to have lived and shined, then cease to exist, only to live on in the legacy we leave behind in others. Even if we are just small specks of dust, we might be a spark and part of a setting of a greater triumph.
If you've made it this far, firstly, thank you so much for watching the video. It also probably means that you're at least okay with the content you're seeing here. So please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It really means a lot. And for the meantime, please check out this video for more of the similar good stuff.